NFHS Network and New Image Media are proud to present the Jacket Jamboree live from Paul B. Gay Stadium in Sanford, North Carolina. Brought to you by the NFHS Network, New Image Media, and Cheap Seat Radio.
Chris DeLambert here with the top returning 3A rusher in North Carolina high school football, A.J. Boulware. A.J., how are you tonight?
I'm doing good. I had a death in the family last night, but I'm here, and I'm ready to see some Jacket football.
Man, I'm sorry to hear that. Wish you and your family the best. As we go through the next couple of weeks, what parts of your game are you working on the most?
Parts of my game I'm working on the most would have to be my vision and to be more elusive and to, continue to be safe and play it safe, play the game very safely.
All right, now I saw you earlier for the first time without pads on, and what was the first thing I asked you?
You asked me why would I not be playing tonight?
No, I asked you how much weight you put on.
Oh, you asked me how much? Oh, yeah, that's right. I ended up putting on 23 pounds.
23 pounds. You didn't feel like you were strong enough. You were too strong for the defenses last year. Is it even fair?
I don't know what to say to all the other defense. All I do is just give credit to the defense and for them to put up a fight. That's what I give to them. And, yeah, I put on 193 pounds, and I look to put on more. I'm trying to hit 200 before we actually start the full season, and I'm ready to rock some his.
All right. I think from the outside looking in, a lot of people thought last year, really great year for Lee County, undefeated regular season, second round of the state playoffs. But I know that you guys really felt like you were a state championship squad. Has that carried over to 2019?
It sure enough has. It really has. It carried over a lot. We have a lot of boys that are returning, and we're ready to kick off the season, and we're fighting for that championship. We're going to go get it this year, and we're not playing no games. We don't work too hard for it, and we've just been fighting ever since. We've been out here ever since December, ever since we lost to Dudley from them 3 points, and we've always remembered that, and that's what's been keeping us going, and that's what's going to continue to keep us going. So you will be expecting to see us in the ship, and we're going to go get it.
Couldn't be any more clear than that. I like that. So you, on a personal level, the team goal here at Lee County this year, from Coach Purdue all the way down through the equipment staff, is a state champion. You've got one more year of high school football left. Everything breaks right. You'll be playing on Saturdays instead of Fridays next year. I know that there are a couple of schools that have reached out to you. You've got a good relationship. How many schools have offered?
4 schools have officially offered me, and I'm talking to a couple, UNC Charlotte, talking Elon, Old Dominion. The 4 schools that offer me are Coastal Carolina, Eastern Kentucky, Georgia State, and North Carolina A&T.
All right, I'm not going to ask you to tip your hand, but I happen to know that this young man's got a T-shirt of one of those 4 schools that have offered. He's going to go ahead and show. Now, that's not an announcement. I want to make sure everybody's clear. That's not an announcement, correct?
It's most definitely not an announcement. I'm not going to announce it. I'm going to wait till the season is over for my senior year, and I will officially announce it.
All right, and for those of you out there, I have got the commitment from Mr. Boulware. We will be broadcasting his announcement for the world. He's going to allow us to break the story. I can't wait, and I hope there's about 15 hats laid out on your table. I'm excited for you. What motivates you outside of, the fiery speeches and being a part of the team and all of the ordinary things people would say? What really gets you going?
What really gets me going is just to be able to wake up, to see another day, to see my family. And by the grace of God, I'm going to tell you this right now, of my grandma fighting off strokes for the past week. She gives me strength just about every single day, because for her to fight off all those strokes and, having an early passing in our family, she motivates me every single day to keep pushing, because she's been through so much in her life. And for her to stay dedicated, to see us another day, that's what motivates me to keep going. And for all the struggles that my family has been through, that pushes me every day and gets me determined to take on the day, every single day, every step of the way, to make it happen, to go into the NFL, play college football, to get my family off their feet, and to be successful in my life.
Well, it's easy to say that, but you've got so much passion. I'm buying it. I believe it. And I think the world is your oyster. Continue to work hard, make good decisions, and I don't think there's anything you can't accomplish, young man. A.J. Boulware, is there anything else you'd like to add?
What else I like to add is for all the schools out there to keep y'all heads up and keep balling out. I wish every school out there the best of luck on your season, safe free injuries, and God bless everybody. And we're gonna bring it. We're bringing it this year, and this is the last year that I will be playing for Lee County High School. And I wish everybody the best of luck out there. God bless you all.
Thanks for spending some time with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll talk soon.
It's my favorite time of the year. Football is back. I would like to personally invite you to come down for your next new or pre-owned vehicle purchase. With one of the largest new and pre-owned inventories in the area, come see us today for discounts that the competition simply can't match or beat. If you drive in Sanford, why not buy in Sanford? Come see me, the deal maker. Come and get that big town deal with that small town feel right here at Crossroads Ford in Sanford.
That's the way we do it down south, baby. We do.
Wednesday, August the 28th at 7:30 p.m., the Mann Center of North Carolina is proud to present Jim Quick and Coastline.
What's up, everybody? This is Jim Quick of the Coastline Band. Be sure to join me and the boys coming up August 28th at the Mann Center of North Carolina in Sanford. One of the biggest, bestest shows of all time. You got to be there. Coastline time is 7:30. We'll see you there.
Tickets are on sale now. Call the box office at 919-775-5273 or online at sanfordartsandvine.com. Come to the Mann Center on August the 28th and see how we do it down south.
All right, I'm here with Hector Perez and David Campbell from Zaxby's, my favorite chicken place in the whole world. Guys, it's funny because Hector asked me before we go on, well, what are we going to talk about? Hector, what do we always talk about, man?
Chicken. And the place to go is Zaxby's.
That's right. What is going on at Zaxby's right now?
So it's been going well here at our Sanford location, and mostly in Zaxby's in general. We have the new Sensation Salad back. Well, not new, it's been back, but we have it back for a limited time, so definitely get a chance to get it. And we also, it's a little strange for me, but we have a Sensation Sandwich. So it's like a Sensation Salad, but in a sandwich.
All right, so Dave, I need you to tell me exactly what the Sensation Salad is.
Sensation salad, that comes with our regular house base, the Asian slaw, 3 chicken fingers cut diced nicely, wonton strips, and teriyaki sauce styled in a Z on top of it with an egg roll in the corner.
So now I can get that as a salad, or I can get it as a sandwich.
Yeah, it's pretty strange. You actually get the egg roll on the side of the fries, if I'm correct. Yes, sir. So you get the best of both worlds there.
That's bananas, man. I got to check that out. I can't. We'll be doing the coaches show this year again at Zaxby's. I think it's 3 years of you guys hosting the show.
Yeah, we'd love to have it there.
As much as I love doing the coaches show on Mondays, my favorite part is chicken.
There we go.
You know, man.
You got to eat before you be on the show.
Absolutely. I'm a tongue torch guy. So nationally, man, Rob Pass, the owner, was here and told me that there's 900 locations for Zaxby's across the country right now.
Yeah, when they started out, they used to be able to do like a conference, which would be like everyone would know each other. It'd be like 80 people. Now with 900 stores, nationally, it's one of the biggest conferences they've ever had. So it's amazing to see Zaxby's growing as a company.
It's wild. I told Rod that when my kids and I would travel back in the day, we would a lot of times plot our routes around where we could stop at a Zaxby's on the road. And now you don't have to plan because pretty much every city in the country's got at least one Zaxby's.
Yeah, and we're moving a little bit more west as we go. We actually have, I think Zaxby's has, no, Utah, actually.
Utah?
Yeah, Utah has, I think, 4 stores in there. So we're going to keep going west.
All right, well, Shake Shack has come to Cary. Zaxby's is headed out toward California. The world's turned upside down, man. I don't know what to do.
Well, that's how companies grow, I guess.
Well, when you have a good product, man, the growth is inevitable. We appreciate everything you do for high school sports here in Lee County. I know that I'll get to see you probably a dozen times at the coaches show, and probably a couple of more times when I stop by the restaurant having nothing to do with the coaches show.
Well, we love to have you there. I know that much, and we love to have everyone there. So come by our Zaxby's locations. We have, I think, 11. It's a little mouthful to name them out, but you'll find us. You'll know who we are.
All right, very good. Once again, we appreciate your help with sponsorship on the high school sports here in Lee County. I'm Chris DeLambert. Back to you.
Are you ready to sell your home and don't know which realtor to choose? Well, not all realtors are the same. I'm Crystal Copas, and I don't just stick a sign in the yard, throw it in the MLS, and hope to collect a commission. I provide a customized marketing plan that includes professional staging, photography, videography, and drone at no cost to you. Contact me, Crystal Copas, with RE/MAX Real Estate Service, and let's get your house sold. 919-356-5402 or visit me at crystalcopas.com.
Almost 90 years ago, First Bank was founded with one simple mission: to help our friends and neighbors prosper and pursue their dreams. Today, we are the largest independent community bank headquartered in North Carolina, with more than 100 locations from the mountains to the Outer Banks. We can offer everything the big banks can, but deliver personalized service and solutions with bankers who know your name and live in your neighborhood. Come see us.
So what the format is right now, we have the half-field format. We've got 4 teams here this evening representing. Each start on the 40-yard line. This first half session, you've got 10 plays on offense, and then you will switch to defense on that. We will be playing for a total of 35 minutes. The clock is always running, and we'll have 10-minute session in between. Southern Lee and Cleveland are working on field 1. Lee County and West Johnston here on field 2. Tight formation, handoff up the middle, stopped again. West County is really working on their tight formation, getting their running backs into it these first 3 plays. Your Lee County Yellow Jackets there in white and blue with the white helmets. West is representing the all-black uniforms with the white helmets. Tight bunch, 3-set back formation. Drops back to pass. There's a little score. They like to see that on there. Coaches love this format. This is just such a great thing. You get a couple of weeks of good practice in, and then you're going to come in and be able to get some really good scrimmaging and work things out that you've been working on during the summer. Get to mix it all up, get to try out new players. This is like preseason football for the NFL, all wrapped up into one day. Seeing 2 different teams. This is the second one that Lee County has hosted this year with their crosstown rivals, the Southern Lee Yellow Jackets. Nah, they're not the Yellow Jackets. They're the Cavaliers. I'm going to get thrown out of town if I keep screwing up their mascots like that. But you know me, Professor Trent A. Nichols here. Doesn't really matter what happens. Because just like these teams, this is preseason for Mr. Trent. Fumble Rooski, fumble-aya. So after every turnover and every scoring play, the ball is replaced back onto the 40-yard line. During this first round, each team gets 10 plays on offense and 10 plays on defense until the 30 minutes run out. And then if they're tied after those 30 minutes, there is a 3-man dance-off in between sessions to see who faces the other team in the next session. No, I'm just joking.
All right.
Talking to Coach Bordeaux earlier this offseason, there is nothing, the expectations are nothing less than bringing home a state champion here to Lee County. And with this talent coming back from last year, they've got to be a favorite as we switch sides. Lee County now has their 10 plays on offense. West will send out their defense to try to get some work in. We here at New Image Media are happy to be your source on the NFHS High School Network for all this year's coming high school football. Little flare out pass to the right-hand side. In the shotgun formation. Handoff right up the middle. Nice running room, good blocking. Fake handoff, play action. Got some time right through the middle, number 17. Brought down about the 13-yard line. Draw there, touchdown. Number 5, Lee County, nice score. So good little drive they brought together there for their first 10 plays on offense. They still have a few left. They will be starting again on the 40. So during this time, you're allowed to have one coach out on the field. Coach Bordeaux for the Lee County Yellow Jackets out there taking care of his squad. He was out there earlier with the JV team, working with them. He's got his standard Crocodile Hunters hat on. Nice little flare out to the right. Number 2. Breaking some tackles. So coming up in the next session, there'll be no coaches on the field. The ball will start again on the 40. And then we have a red zone session on the 20-yard line. The ball starts. Game situation, 1st and 10. Punts and field goal attempts, no rushing. And when the ball changes possession, it starts on the 40. The QB cannot be touched because that is very important in football, to never touch the QB. Nice little scramble out there. Lee County will be traveling to Cleveland in the next session. They have a flight to Ohio coming up. I hear Cleveland rocks this time of day. I thought it was UNC. I thought Coach Bordeaux brought on the UNC Tar Heels to scrimmage this evening, so they had some good competition. But it is actually Cleveland High School. We may even have Chris DeLambert joining us for that next session up here, so you won't have to listen to me explain all the finer points of this Jamboree Miracle on Grass session going on. Another goal line situation. Quick pass to the left. Good drawn up play, good execution. All right. Lee County had their 10 offensive plays. Taking a little break while West Johnston County gets their offense out there. I got to be honest, West Johnston's offensive line is looking a little shaky. I don't think their coach is paying much attention to them during this Jamboree. Thank God he wasn't paying attention to what I was saying, because he could hurt me easily. Evans off to the right, breaks down the line, comes up, finishes the tackle on number 36. Little injury on the field. So high regards for number 10, Desmond Evans. Getting pulled out. He's got so many offers on the table. He says he's probably narrowed his list down to about 5. Would probably be looking to make his announcement during the early signing period in December. And I know his teammate is trying to lure him to UNC. So we'll probably hear his comments later on when the Grand Master Chris DeLambert chatted with him earlier. Here on the new Image Media. Broadcasting you live at the NFHS network. Nice run up the middle for West Johnston County. There was a big enough hole you could have driven a Classic Nissan from Classic Nissan here in Sanford through it. Great bounce back right off in there. Score for West Johnston County. Beautiful. They really held the D-line. Number 36 had that ball, bounced right off, got to the outside, ran it right in. Looks like a dance-off is in our future. They've both scored twice, 2 touchdowns each. 13 minutes in this first session. Here at Lee Jamboree 2019 Session 2. Coming to you live from McCracken Field here in the thriving metropolis of Sanford, North Carolina. Jumped off sides there. A lot of tight bunched formation West Johnston is showing. Such a great event for these 4 schools to be a part of, and the fans out here are loving it, cheering on each section. But you know what I love? It is so hot up here, it makes me think of being at the beach. And there is nothing I love more than beach music. My first concert I went to when I was a child was the Made in the USA tour with the Beach Boys. So this year, coming up at the Sanford Arts and Wine Festival, at the Mann Center, they have live beach music again. That was a spectacular show last year. And I couldn't tell if it was the pounding sun or all the great food they have or all my luau dancing that made me sweat more. But you got to check it out, Keith. Stay tuned for information on Sanford Arts and Vine live at the Mann. Come join me, Professor Trent, to listen to my favorite music, beach music. 10 minutes to go in this first session. Lee County is working through their plays. Looks like the spread offense. Just making sure all the referees are lined up properly. All right, panning back to the action. Something happened there. Dropped pass. Next year on session 1 of the Jamboree, I myself got invited to be a celebrity ball boy. I will be that guy running out on that field right now, bringing them balls. It is going to be miraculous. I'll probably have to start training in December to get in shape. A little sweep around the edge. Oh, number 2's got some hands issues early in this little Jamboree session. They might want to think about cutting him off the team. I'm just joking. I don't know who number 2 is. He's fine. The ball is wet. We had a nice monsoon come through here right before it delayed us about half an hour this evening. But now it's a beautiful sunset. Pink, red skies, a little bit of clouds. Hot, humid days like this, being here at a Jamboree makes me think of New Orleans and jambalaya. I could go for some nice, steamy, hot jambalaya right about now with extra andouille sausage. Not a big shrimp fan, though, so traditionally, jambalaya, I probably skip over the shrimp. You know who used to have good shrimp was right here, the local Steel Pig. Now Cooper's Restaurant and Wine Bar. I think they continued the tradition with some great shrimp and grits. If you're looking to be a resident here in Sanford, to join us at this Jamboree next year, talk to Crystal Copus and Remax Real Estate Services. You know, nobody sells more homes than Remax, especially here in the Sanford area. Crystal's an amazing woman, works very hard. It's a shame her husband's kind of a flake. Just joking. Without Mr. Tim Kopis, I wouldn't be here tonight. And I hate him for it. I've lost about 17 pounds of water weight standing in this press box. Ladies and gentlemen, the Master of Ceremonies has joined this Fiery Pits of Hell press box. Chris DeLambert. Looks like well, we talked about how much I love beach music and how Crystal Kopis does a great job selling homes, but her husband's kind of a flake. All right. And Desmond Evans has been doing a good job, showed himself early on the first play of the game during their 10-play sequence.
Well, I don't know if my love of beach music is equal to yours, but if you'd like to shag, let me know. We can cut a rug, do a little dance, get down tonight. This is a lot of fun. Not only did we get one Jamboree this season, we got two. I thought last Saturday was as hot as it was going to get. Oh, how I was wrong. And I do have to tell you that there's some air moving around up here on the field. No. The only thing moving around are the gnats, buddy. I'm hoping that by next week when we open up play that the weather has taken a little break on us. You know what I mean?
Football weather. This is why. I mean, being this soaking wet should only be because of a snowstorm and it raining.
Check.
You know, technology with these broadcasts, it's always tricky. But you know who has made something simple? That's First Bank. Banking made simple.
You did that like a professional, man.
You should hear all of them. I'm
wow. I like it. I like it. So any other observations about what's going on the field?
No, they've had a lot of bunch offense here for West Johnston County, doing a lot of three-men sets in the back. So giving Lee some good defensive work.
Ball's out. Looks like Southern League came up with it. And are they running on a play count, or are they going to switch possession?
No. So this first session is they each get 10 plays
That's
on offense,
all right.
10 plays on defense.
Thanks for coaching me up there. I appreciate that. Nice play by the defense nonetheless.
We're covering the Lee game, Lee Senior versus the West Johnston. So during the next session, though, we will have Southern Lee highlighted here.
All right. Well, use your imagination. Southern Lee just forced turnover on the other end of the field.
Against UNC Tar Heels in blue. Great run by number 37 there on West Johnston, following his blockers through the hole.
All right, the clock ticking down on this portion of the session. 30 seconds left. Looks like they'll get one more play off. So, Trent, if you were a football coach, wouldn't that be the optimal vantage point? You see the offensive staff there right behind the ball as it's snapped and going to go for a touchdown. Nice way to close out there. It reminds me of, flag football with 6-year-olds with the coaches on the field. What do you think they're saying?
Well, I definitely think they take that opportunity to correct some mistakes that may be happening. You know, the Arena Football League, the coaches are on. The offensive coach and the defensive coach is on the field.
Hadn't thought about that. You're right, though.
Yeah. So we're at the halfway point on the varsity session here at the Jamboree. So Lee County was facing off against West Johnston. They will move on to play around with Cleveland, and Southern Lee will now play West Johnston County. This is where the game is more a game. It's not the 10 play session happens. Should be interesting.
All right, we got about 10 minutes till the next session starts. We'll regroup, meet us back here after this break.
You're watching New Image Media, NFHS Network, broadcasting all your high school football.
The starting lineup. Your captains on offense, number 5, Holden Cruz. And number 10, Jasmine Dole. Your captains on defense, number 55, Wesley Tater Womack. Number 7, Steve Dandrin. Whether you're a Yellow Jacket or a Cavalier, everybody gets a classic deal. For sales, service, or parts, visit us at ClassicNissanSanford.com or in person on Highway 87, right across from Walmart in Sanford.
Chris DeLambert, host of From the Cheap Seats, here with Theo Stratos, the new general manager at Classic Nissan. How are you?
Doing great. Glad to be here.
Now, Classic Nissan's been a partner with us on high school athletics for several years now, and we appreciate that continuing. Where were you before you came to Sanford?
I was in Charlottesville, Virginia.
Okay.
Yes, so that's where I'm from, and excited to be working here in the Sanford area, where an actual colleague that I used to work with for another company, actually we talked, and he invited me to come see the store, and it's all worked out really, really well. I'm excited to be here in the community to support, and all about building strong relationships, and excited for the team. They're doing so well. Yeah.
Well, very good. Sounds like you're all settled in and happy to be here. That's good to know.
Yes.
And we appreciate the continued support of Classic Nissan. How is the car business right now?
So actually, we're up year over year. Things are going well. Everything is moving great. I mean, we have worked hard to build a strong team. In fact, 2 of the players for the team, their fathers work for Classic Nissan. So a couple of the star players actually, and so yeah, this is like family here. So.
What's hot in the world of Nissan right now? What's the hottest thing going?
We're looking at the Maxima. That's very hot. We just acquired the new body style 2020 Sentra. We got our first one in yesterday, and more to come. So yeah, the Rogue does extremely well. The Murano, we do well here in the area with the Armada, and also the Ultima does very well. So yeah, it's a strong market here here.
Well, very good. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, let's go team, right? Let's go team. We're here to watch the game and have fun, and that's what we're going to do, right? Talk to people.
Yes, talking to people. Yes. That's what we do all the time.
I want to meet the people here. Everyone's so kind.
Head on over to Classic Nissan, and she's going to find you the right car. I have no doubt. All this success she's talking about, it's all right here. All attributable to her.
It's all the strong team, so I'm really proud of our team, and again, I appreciate the opportunity to be here to support the community and the school. It's exciting. Thank you for having me.
All right, and thanks again to you and your team and everything you do for high school sports here in Lee County. We couldn't do it without you.
My pleasure.
Have a great night. Enjoy some football.
All right, let's do it.
It's game day at Classic Nissan. The starting lineup. Your captains on offense, number 5, Holden Cruz. 10, Jasmine Dole. Your captains on defense, number 55, Wesley Tater Womack. Number 7, Steve Dandrin. Whether you're a Yellow Jacket or a Cavalier, everybody gets a classic deal. For sales, service, or parts, visit us at ClassicNissanSanford.com or in person on Highway 87, right across from Walmart in Sanford.
Are you ready to sell your home and don't know which realtor to choose? Well, not all realtors are the same. I'm Crystal Copas, and I don't just stick a sign in the yard, throw it in the MLS, and hope to collect a commission. I provide a customized marketing plan that includes professional staging, photography, videography, and drone at no cost to you. Contact me, Crystal Copas, with RE/MAX Real Estate Service, and let's get your house sold. 919-356-5402 or visit me at crystalcopas.com.
Almost 90 years ago, First Bank was founded with one simple mission: to help our friends and neighbors prosper and pursue their dreams. Today, we are the largest independent community bank headquartered in North Carolina.
I'm here with Mike Fowler, radio voice for the Southern Lee Cavaliers. Southern Lee, one of the participants here at the Jacket Jamboree Part 2. Mike, last couple of years, Lee County, or Southern Lee rather, has gone through a lot of transition with Coach Don Simon leaving at the very last moment to head down to Florida. And that created a culture shift in the program. But simultaneously, there was a seepage of talent that's occurred over the last couple of years with some really, really strong senior classes graduating. Is this the year that Southern Lee kind of gets back to where they were 2 or 3 years ago?
You know, I hope so, Chris. I really do. I think and you're right, one of the biggest things that's happened in the history of Southern Lee has been inconsistency in coaching, only from the standpoint that they're there, then they leave. But with Coach Neal being in his 3rd year, a lot of the kids he has that are seniors now have been with him since they came here. And I think he's finally starting to establish some good things. We got several seniors that are coming back that have started for 2-3 years now, especially on the offensive line. Of course, wide receiver with Noah Lockley. Thomas Harrington at quarterback got a lot of playing time last year, so we'll hope that'll transition into this year to end a good senior year and hopefully get us past the first round again.
Well, Thomas Harrington is a guy, you know, from the time he was in about 6th grade, you know, people were preparing for him to be the quarterback at Southern Lee. Is it fair to say that this year is unlike anything he's gone through? Because there was no doubt, there was no competition. This was going to be his squad to lose. So he's gotten all the reps. Can you see that so far in what you've seen off the field, on the practice fields?
Yeah, I have, actually. The confidence he has, and I've been to a couple of practices, and, of course, last week with the first Jamboree, you can see some confidence that he has. Again, with him, I think it's just going to be how much time he gets. And the triple option that Coach Neal's putting in now this year, he's got to have good poise with that, patience with that, to know when to pitch it, when to keep it, et cetera. But in seeing what I've seen so far in practice, he's looking pretty good.
All right, so Thomas Harrington, you know, quarterbacks get all the love. Noah Lockley is one of the more dynamic players in the district. Who are some other guys you've got your eyes on, and folks at home that aren't familiar with the program should be looking out for on Friday nights?
Well, I think on the offensive side of the ball, obviously it starts with Thomas, but you got to look at Rodney Ingram in the backfield. Now, Rodney's out right now with an injury. They're hoping to get him back hopefully by the second game is what he told us last week. But he's been doing really well in practice. He's coming back for his, I believe this is his junior year this year, so he's been playing quite a bit. Strong kid, strong runner. Tanoa, of course, and I saw something on Twitter somewhere where Tanoa had ran like a 4.4 in one of the camps that he was at. He's ranked in the top 10 receivers in the area, and he's so versatile, not just as a receiver, but a defensive back, punt returner. So we're hoping he's going to bring a lot of excitement to us. And then in line, on the offensive line, you got some guys like Reinhardt and Parker Oldham and Andrew Sosa that are back, and these are experienced guys, good size. So hopefully, with that triple option, a lot of it has to do with blocking. So we're excited about it. Logan Hare's another one at receiver that should be good this year, and we're looking good there. Defensive side of the ball, as you mentioned, we lost some good key people over the last couple years, but Cedric Douglas on that offensive line is one to watch. Had a great great year last year. You know, he's small in height, but he's strong as an ox. Denny Woodruff, who's my color commentator, Denny was mentioning that, you know, during the track season he's just a go-getter, and I think he's going to bring good. So I think we're being in pretty good shape. But as everybody, Lee County's going to have the same way. All these teams, you know, we got to stay away from the injury bug. That's going to be the big thing.
Well, in Southern League in particular, because it's a school that's not going to trot out 80 guys on game night. Yeah, it's a team that's probably going to dress 35 or 40 people. You're going to have a lot of guys. You talked about Parker Oldham. My understanding is he's going to play some defensive line this year. It's interesting, one of the shifts at Southern is that there for a 3 or 4 year period, they were pumping out linebackers like crazy. And the linebackers were the core of that defense. That shifted, I think, especially on the defensive side of the ball, where once again going into this season, I would say Southern – on paper, probably has the best tandem of cornerbacks in the district. You think that's a fair assessment of Elijah Fox to Noah Lockley?
Yeah, I would say so. Those are pretty talented kids. And, again, you can put them up against anybody. You know, the conference isn't as strong as we've been in maybe over the last few years, but there are some talented kids in this conference, and it's good to have those guys. You know, and, again, we're hoping that, hey, everybody's going to stay healthy. That's going to be the whole thing going forward. But, you know, having 7 home games this year is going to be nice and help. And even the road games aren't far away. So hopefully these guys won't get tired and, you know, have all the Cavalier fans come out to Cavalier Stadium and support these guys.
Very good. Appreciate your time, Mike. Anything you want to add?
No, just go Cavs. Best of luck to Lee County. And, again, support these schools, support stations, have everybody come out, and it's going to be a good season.
All right. We're doing 6 Cavalier games in all this year, so I'll see you at least 6 times during the football season. Appreciate you hanging out with us.
Hey, no problem. Good to see you guys. Thanks.
That's the way we do it down south, baby. We know
Wednesday, August the 28th at 7:30 p.m., the Mann Center of North Carolina is proud to present Jim Quick and Coastline.
What's up, everybody? This is Jim Quick of the Coastline Band. Be sure to join me and the boys coming up August 28th at the Mann Center of North Carolina in Sanford. One of the biggest, bestest shows of all time. You got to be there. Coastline time is 7:30. We'll see you there.
Tickets are on sale now. Call the box office at 919-775-5273 or online at sanfordartsandvine.com. Come to the Mann Center on August the 28th and see how we do it down south.
It's my favorite time of the year. Football is back. I would like to personally invite you to come down for your next new or pre-owned vehicle purchase. With one of the largest new and pre-owned inventories in the area, come see us today for discounts that the competition simply can't match or beat. If you drive in Sanford, why not buy in Sanford? Come see me, the deal maker. Come and get that big town deal with that small town feel right here at Crossroads Ford in Sanford.
Mike Fowler for providing some insight on the Southern League Cavaliers this year. Mike's one of the smarter football guys around, man. I enjoyed talking to him, and we have a mutual affinity for Southern League. I did that TV for Southern for I think 6 years exclusively, and now a little bit of back and forth. You don't get to get as close to the program as we did back then. But he and Denny Woodruff do a fantastic job on radio covering the Southern League Cavaliers. So, again, appreciate the hand there. This is our first look at Southern Lee's triple option. It's amazing where this school has gone offensively in the last 3 years or so. This is a team that used to spread it out, go 4 and 5 wide, and try to cram as many plays as they could, throwing the ball all over the yard, to now this sort of methodical, conservative offense, but not an offense that's not necessarily wide open. I think people think of the triple option and they think, well, belly play, belly play, belly play. But, this is an option offense with a lot of misdirection. They will throw it a little bit there as Thomas Harrington misses a receiver across the middle. This is an offense, when run effectively, can create a lot of space and in turn, a lot of big plays. Trent, you've been watching all 4 of these teams tonight. What are your initial impressions?
Well, no, I've liked what I've seen. It seems like it's come together quickly for Southern Lee. I know West Johnston County was 1-10 last year, and they look much improved too. I was talking to a few of their coaches. They're pretty excited to try to build that winning mentality in there. So we'll see how they come out as well.
Yeah, they turned the entire staff over. Isn't that right?
Pretty much. They added 4 new coaches in there, and they're all pretty excited about the challenges ahead, and starting the season off with the right mentality. They're happy to be invited to this jamboree that Lee put on.
All right, Thomas Arrington looking for Tanoa Lockley there. He couldn't come up with the floater, and you see, I wonder the pace that we're seeing tonight from the Cavaliers. I wonder how much of an indicator that is of what's to come in the regular season. This is an offense that these guys are just starting to master. So I wonder how much different or how much faster the pace might be once we get into regular season play. Can't connect on the pitch there, and suddenly will take a little bit of a loss. Our coverage starts next Friday. We'll have E.E. Smith visiting the Lee County Yellow Jackets, and we'll get to, as much fun as these jamborees have been, we'll get to see some football that the score counts in. Trent, you'll be with us in the booth.
What?
Is that right?
The score counts? Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to get to be a part of a lot of these games this year, so you guys will get to hear my beautiful voice a lot more.
So now I'll get to spend Mondays and Fridays with you.
You are a lucky man.
I am a lucky fella. You can hear Trent and I on Mondays on From the Cheap Seats on 105.5 FM in a total of 13 counties throughout Central Carolina. Or you can find a rebroadcast of that via podcast in the iTunes podcast app or just about anywhere. Any podcast home, I guess, has our show out there available. Just look for From the Cheap Seats with Chris DeLambert, Brandon Atkins, Professor Trent A. Nichols, and the inimitable Robert Brickey. Well, that's 3 out of 4 plays that the Cavaliers have put the ball on the ground, and Coach Neal's got to be a little salty about that. Meanwhile, on the other end of the field, Jackets looking pretty good on offense. I tell you, Trent, with the inception of the hurry-up offense as the norm at every level of football, seeing a team actually go back and huddle up between plays it's kind of wild. It's going to take some getting used to.
It is a
Harrington rolls left, looking for his man, got him, and he can't come up with it. Ooh. And I tell you, that's a tough call. Defender had him in his sights, and they're going to get him for unnecessary roughness. But, had he held on to the football, that's probably a legal shot.
Would have been a great hit, a great tackle. But, this is the practice time where, you get more flags thrown, not as much as maybe the NFL in the preseason where they're throwing a flag on every other whisper.
I was watching the Cincinnati-Washington game yesterday, and in the first minute and 58 seconds of that game, there'd been 6 flags thrown, and it never slowed down. And I saw enough over the last 2 weeks to know that this challenge on pass interference calls has got to go. It's mind-numbing. And, the problem is, we've said for years and years and years, holding occurs on every play. Well, guess what? Pass interference occurs on both sides every single play.
Yeah.
So if you're going to review the play, I assure you that 99% of the time, somebody is going to have interfered at some point in the play, and all it does is just stretch the game out a little bit more and give the league time to, take more commercial breaks. I am not a fan at all.
I mean, I think we've seen, though, in the preseasons of past when they've changed the rules or they're tightening it up and throwing a lot of penalties that, they go back they use that as a learning, a coaching moment with the referees and the teams, and it doesn't really go into the regular season. I don't think we have too much to worry about, but I guess time will tell.
I mean, have you not
We
been
have
paying
18 days.
Have you not been paying attention the last couple of years with the roughing the quarterback calls? Where at this point you have to kind of cuddle the quarterback to the ground.
No,
you haven't been paying attention to that.
Nope.
No. Oh well, fair enough.
I had to work every Sunday.
All right, Southern on defense now. As Cleveland comes out on offense.
Or West Johnston.
Or
Cleveland is on
I'm
defense
sorry.
against Lee.
You're right.
Cleveland is just.
It's a bang-up job we're doing in here
Brandon
tonight.
Atkins would love Cleveland's colors right here.
Yes, he would.
Think he was down there with who did they hire now? Rock Newtony as their coach. Who's that guy? That old dude?
I don't
UNC guy?
think that they hired Newt Rockne to be their head coach.
Where is Cleveland in North Carolina? I think it's in Johnston County. Huh? Oh, it's around St. Paul, Minneapolis. Oh, so near Garner, kind of, almost-ish.
Yeah, on the southeast coast of Lake Erie.
Yeah, Cleveland.
Yes.
Well, I already said it. I heard it rocks this time of year. Cleveland rocks. Cleveland rocks.
I actually am planning on taking a trip to Cleveland next year.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, you know that the NFL announced that they were going to expand next year's Hall of Fame class to 20.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so my belief is that Ken Anderson, the greatest quarterback in Cincinnati Bengals history, will finally get into the Hall of Fame. And if he does, I think I'm going to take my opportunity to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for the first time. So we'll stay in Cleveland, commute down to Canton for the festivities, and check that out.
You going to take in an Indians game? Have you ever been to their new park?
I have not. If they are at home during that same weekend, most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
What do you think? Don't you think that one of my favorite Bengals, Ickey Woods, should be in the Hall of Fame just because of his shuffle?
No. It'd be really cool if he was, and he was a very, very good player.
Yep. There's
well,
a
I tell you,
defensive breakdown there on that play.
Yeah, they got away with one on that. The coverage was good, just couldn't locate the football, and that was sort of an unintentional back shoulder throw that goes for 6. No, Ickey Woods will always be a fan favorite, and he's one of those guys you always ask, what if? He hurt his knee, and then while he was rehabbing, got in a car wreck, tore it up again. He's gone into the car business up there in northern Kentucky and southwestern Ohio and done really well for himself. He's still engaged, and he will always have 1988. Well, I tell you what, the Southern defense is being exposed right now as a big gainer goes for about 15 right up the middle and found some space out to the left side.
Yeah, some good blocking up front by West Johnston County. I wonder if, since their offensive line coach actually went down to the sidelines during this portion, if that had anything to do with it.
Well, he's actually in the mix right there behind the head coach and offensive coordinator on the field. So he's down there getting a good look. Little misdirection, ends up in the belly, and a nice little run, gets about 6.
Oh, little chippiness going on.
Well, it's hot. It's been a long day. And, yeah, it's kind of not surprising.
Yeah.
Trent, I can't recall whether or not you've ever called an honest-to-goodness high school football game with us before. Have you?
I did. I did one game last year,
Did
the
you?
Western Harnett game, remember?
Okay. Nope. If I
It
remembered.
was me and you, and it was the one game that Desmond was suspended for, so I didn't get to see. It was Lee Senior versus Western Harnett. There was a lot of mental errors on the defense of Lee, and the game was a lot closer than the score.
I do recall now. I do recall.
You know, when it's real hot, I love zipping my way in my brand new Crossroads Ford Focus, where they have big city deals from a dealer with a hometown feel. I drive that right over to Zaxby's with my friends, my family, and I get myself my favorite flavor shake on these hot days. Chris, what do you do during these hot days?
I do all of the same things, except that I swing by First Bank and hit the ATM so I can get some cash out to make that happen.
Well, generally I stop at First Bank because they make it simple, my banking, and I usually try to get that done on Monday by like 8:50, so I don't have an opportunity to miss From the Cheap Seats every Monday from 9 to 11 on WFJA 105.5.
If you miss that show from 9 to 11 from the Cheap Seats, what can you do, Trent? Is there any way that you can hear it other than live on the radio?
Well, I went to the iTunes app store and I subscribed to their podcast. So every single week, right after the show, it pops up and I get a notification that From the Cheap Seats is right there.
That's amazing, man. Isn't technology awesome?
Yeah, and, you know, every single time that show starts, I think, man, that guy's voice that brings that show in, he is one handsome dude. He shouldn't be hidden in the radio. He should be on TV.
Yeah, he is pretty amazing.
It's a great show. There's great camaraderie with these guys in that show. You know, even when Brandon Atkins there and he's Mickey Mousing up it with his horrible radio voice.
Wow. If Brandon's watching this, I hope he doesn't get this far into the telecast.
I'm just joking.
He got away with a pass interference, but it doesn't matter. Going to be reeled in at the 1 yard line there. Nice connection for Southern Lee. Young Thomas Harrington showing off that gun. That was a good-looking throw. And almost as good a catch. Afraid they're not going to give you the end zone on that.
How much do these coaches love these kind of practice sessions? This has got to be this is like the moment for them to get ready for next week.
I would imagine that depends on how they're going. And the chippiness has gone up a couple notches. I really think that's probably depends on how it's going. If it confirms that the work they put in this summer has paid off and they can see progress and they see execution, I think they love it. If not, they're probably not very easy to get along with right now.
Yeah. Back when I was coaching my team on Madden, I used to have these inner scrimmages too, and it always really came into view what I needed to work on heading into a big season.
Well, I think what you probably found out is, in your case, you needed to reset to rookie mode. And that just makes everything okay.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's the mode I played, buddy. I had like 4 Super Bowl appearances in a row. And I almost won one.
Who's your team on Madden?
Well, I usually would take the Denver Broncos, but I didn't like switching any unrealistic players for them. So I play with their real squad, but I would always have a different team that I would kind of, move around people and try to build a smashing one. But I haven't played in a long time. I think Dante Culpepper was on the cover the last time I played.
So you were playing it on the old original Sega Genesis, right?
No, it was PlayStation.
Yeah,
I think I had the original, Sega.
I
version,
definitely had Madden on the Sega Genesis. And if you're under the age of about 35, you don't have any idea what I'm even talking about. I saw something interesting from Thomas Harrington. I'm going to be watching for it to see if he does it regularly, but he rolled left, and rather than pitch with his left hand, he threw across his body with his right hand. Oh, almost hauled in at the goal line.
Ooh.
And that's the same play they just took it down to the one last time. I wonder if that was just a freak thing, an athlete making a play, or if that's something that he does normally. Interesting. Very interesting. And anybody, whether you're playing in your backyard or have played organized football as a quarterback, pitching with your offhand is difficult.
Well, there is this guy that people are looking up to in the NFL now that likes to do all these trick pitches out there in Kansas City.
And there you see, he was comfortable with the right hand, got the edge, and dragged down just sort of the 20-yard line. Call it the 22, 23-yard line. A lot of speed on this Cavaliers squad. Not a whole lot of girth, which is going to be something they have to overcome with this offense. For it to work to the edges, you've got to establish that you can do some harm up the middle, and blocking up the middle against bigger teams is going to be challenging for the Cavaliers in 2019, as it has been in 2018, 17, 16, and 15. Not a team that churns out a lot of great big guys on the offensive line. Nice-looking ball there. Caught inside the 20. Tim Kopus, who's our Red Zone sponsor this year? So, Southern Lee with a trip. I don't know that it's their first, but it's my first call of the year. That completion will take them inside the Zaxby's Red Zone.
A nice ding right on.
Yeah, I'm going to have to make it happen every single time. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I liked it.
Good strong running up the middle, gets the ball down inside the 15, about the 12-yard line. $14 minutes left in this half of the session.
Such a great media outlet, this NFHS, what they're doing for these schools, and getting some of this publicity and some broadcasting of some of these smaller schools out there. It's great to be a part of the NFHS network, even though it's insanely hard to say the way they worded it.
It is not a natural thing yet, but if you're watching this rebroadcast from one of the streams that we post, you can catch games live, not just Lee County or Southern Lee. You can catch thousands of games throughout the high school football season live as a subscriber to the NFHS network. So go check it out. It's available on all your devices. And for a reasonably small fee, they'll be happy to provide you with streaming service throughout the year for all of your high school sports.
Yeah.
We're a proud member of that network.
And, you know, there's a man here in the thriving metropolis of Sanford. You stop by Verizon, he might be able to get you a coupon for a couple of free weeks of the NFHS network, so you can watch the first few games on Verizon here in Sanford.
Tim, the Verizon man.
Oh, some yelling over there.
Well, that misdirection had me fooled. Southern lead down inside the 5. Goal line situation coming. And Trent, you haven't been around me long enough doing these games to know how badly this grinds my gears. If you're a foot and a half from the goal line, The idea that you're going to snap the ball back 6 yards away from the line of scrimmage is counterintuitive to me, and a lot of bad things can happen. There's the pitch.
Just
It's
not
back,
this
and
time.
we'll get through. No, and it works. I mean, occasionally. But how often do you see a botched snap? Do you see a play that gets stacked up in the backfield? I mean, if you run the ball into the belly or even to the edge of the line in a traditional handoff from under center, what's the maximum number of yards realistically you can lose?
Yeah.
Not much.
Yeah.
But you get something, you get a breakdown in your blocking scheme or a bad snap, you can get from, first and goal from the 1, you can be looking at the 10-yard line pretty quickly. It's always made me crazy. I debate that with high school coaches. It's a 50-50 split in terms of philosophies on how that ought to go, but
Well, I mean, I think it
What do I know?
resonates all the way up into the pros where quarterbacks do not know how to take a snap from under center. And we've started it early. And we talked about this on our one game together last year. It's ludicrous. Some holding on that play, looks like. Number 55 might be a little guilty of that.
good eyes.
So what are you looking forward to most this season coming up?
I am looking forward to the fact that both of our Lee County teams have seasoned senior quarterbacks at the helm of their offenses.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking about Survivor, the show. No.
I think that the quarterback play for both schools will be very good. A.J. Boulware has a lot of praise heaped on him, and it's well-deserved. But Rodney Ingram over across town is a heck of a bell cow back. So those are two core components right there for both of those offenses. And they both got head coaches that, if they don't need to, they're not going to try to, do anything too cute on offense. I think they're going to be fun to watch. I think both schools – I would not be surprised if the final game of the regular season for these schools is playing one another undefeated again. That's kind of where I'm at.
Huh.
I do feel like Southern, if they can stay healthy, because they're so thin. This is a team that's only going to draft, they're only going to dress 35 or 40 players. They cannot afford significant injuries. If they stay healthy, they can make a run in the state playoffs. Nobody would want to play them. Lee County legitimately is a team that should be considered a contender for a state championship.
Do you think that based on a big run up the middle?
Again, the defense looking porous for the Cavaliers.
Do you think that there is enough competition out there for Lee to make that run into the playoffs? Or is it going to be these games where they can't keep that motivation and that fire enough to have that cutthroat mentality that we see in some of these teams? I mean, well, never mind. That example would be horrible because probably nobody would know what it was.
Here's the thing, Trent. Lee County last year, there was no problem with motivation. There was no problem with anything, really. I mean, the team played well. There were some things, some turnovers. They had some games where they couldn't stop holding, but pretty much they beat every opponent that they were faced with pretty soundly until they ran up and basically, I know this sounds like sour grapes, they got a crap draw in the state playoffs. Dudley was too good a team to match up with Lee County in the second round of the playoffs, and that game came down to a play. And if they get past Dudley, they might have won a state championship last year. They could not get a break. And to be fair, they couldn't stop Dudley when it mattered most. But I don't think it was a lack of focus that got them at that point in the season. But let's be real. When you're beating teams 55-0, you're not going to get 100% focus from these guys. I think Coach Purdue does as much as is humanly possible to keep those guys focused and get them to do the right things. But, it is what it is. Your focus when it's 55-0 is not going to be the same as if you're in a 14-14 barn burner. That's just how things are. So the other piece of that is that this team here for Lee Senior is packed with seniors. This is a great senior class. Just by dumb luck, they didn't graduate too many players that are really part of the core last year. So this team here is not only battle-hardened, they're mad. And there's not going to be anything that they see that surprises them. These guys believe, every one of those young men out there in a jacket uniform believe they can win a state championship and that they should win a state championship if they do what they're capable of doing. Southern, it's a little bit different with Southern, first of all, because most likely when they get into the playoffs, assuming that they get in the playoffs this year, they'll be playing in the small 3A side of the bracket. So the challenges they face are a little bit different, but where they have struggled over the last 4 or 5 years, which is really the first good era of Southern League football in that school's history. School hadn't been around very long. And up until about 5 years ago, they'd never been to the state playoffs. Well, now it's expected. It's a norm. With the way their conference is scheduled or is structured on paper, they should be in the playoffs pretty much every year. This is just a team, for whatever reason, the kids in those neighborhoods that it pulls from don't tend to be 250 pounds. 275 pounds. They just don't have many guys that are that size. And the roster is thin. It's, paper thin. So there's no margin for error, especially at the skill positions, the high-impact positions at middle linebacker, at cornerback, at quarterback. If a guy goes down, they have a real problem because they just can't go next man up without a step-off in talent. So that's my nutshell analysis for both squads this year. I can tell by your silence that, you're impressed.
I agree 100% with your analysis.
So we've got about 4 minutes left until we wrap the jacket. I guess it's the 2019 Jacket Jamboree Part 2. Been a lot of fun. I'll be interested to talk to Coach Purdue and find out if they plan to do 2 parts again. I know my understanding is that the intent was for Lee County to do 1 and Southern to do 1 and for both schools to compete there. And I'm not 100% sure how it ended up that Lee County was just going to host both. I don't know if it was a scheduling thing or what.
It's a field issue they have at Southern right now. Their field is not ready.
Breaking news. Trent
Nichols. Actually, Southern's been using this field for practice.
That's amazing because I told Tim when we were down on the field, this field right now is in as good a shape as I've ever seen it.
Well,
I'm amazed that it's as hot as it's been, that it is in this good a shape. A night like tonight, I'm impressed that it's held up as well as it has. So kudos to whoever is doing the groundskeeping here.
Oh yeah, they had to they redid the whole field over in Southern this year. So,
well, one of these days, it's my humble opinion, somebody should get the attention of the Board of Commissioners and the school board, and we should consider putting carpet down on both of these fields.
Yeah,
artificial surface would be amazing at either or both of these fields. I'm also going to have to ask if it's my eyes playing with me or if it's a real thing, but it appears that the crown on this field is not as distinct as it used to be. And I don't know if it's just so green that it's my eyes playing with me or what, but I'm going to have to go talk to Coach Purdue and see if they leveled it out a little bit. There used to be appeared to be a ridge in the middle, not just a crown where it, rolls off each side. But that doesn't appear to be the case right now either. Here, change of quarterback. inside of 2 minutes, if you've made this far, made it this far into the broadcast, give yourself a gold star.
Big. 3 gold stars. If you made it 10 minutes into the broadcast with me talking.
From a broadcast standpoint, this is unfair and unusual. And you might ask, well, don't you have rosters up there? No, we don't. And it wouldn't matter anyway, because for these scrimmages, the guys are not necessarily wearing the correct jersey numbers. So this has just been our intent has not been to bring top shelf play-by-play, but we've done the best, and we hope we've educated and entertained you, or at least one or the other.
He had some lightning skills on that toss back.
Well, like Harrington, he is struggling to pitch the ball going to the left. And if you noticed, Harrington pitched with his right hand across his body. That was a two-handed pitch. So that's obviously something these quarterbacks are going to have to work on, because you can't run a one-sided option offense. You've got to be able to go both directions. And that sounds pretty elementary. It's not. Try it at home. Make that pitch motion with your offhand. It's a difficult motion to control. And it's reared its head with both of the quarterbacks that Southern's cycled through. So something to work on. All right, probably the last play here. Clock inside of 15 seconds. And that should put a bow on both of these scrimmages. Your reflections on a very long night of football.
It was a great thing to see a little tidbit of these. I think this is a good practice for everyone. I had a great time sweating. Very thirsty. I don't know how any of these kids do this, but yeah, it was great. Thanks for having me.
You've been watching NFHS and New Image Media coverage of the 2019 Lee County Jacket Jamboree Part 2.
The NFHS Network and New Image Media are proud to present the Jacket Jamboree live from Paul B. Gay Stadium in Sanford, North Carolina. Brought to you by the NFHS Network, New Image Media, and Cheap Seat Radio.